A student earns 12 Q credits after having been to school for Q quarters. So in Part A, we'll evaluate 12Q for Q equals 1, Q equals 2, and Q equals 3. Describe the meaning of your results. In Part B, we'll refer to those results to determine how many credits the student earns each quarter. And then in Part C, we're going to compare our results from Part B with the expression 12Q and see what we notice. So in Part A, we're going to start off by doing some evaluating. So we're going to have 3 different values for Q, so we're going to need to evaluate this 3 different times. So in the first one, we have 12. Remember that the Q slips out and the value slips in. So the first one, Q equals 1. In the second one, Q is going to equal 2. And in the last one, Q is going to equal 3. And if we go ahead and do the simplifying now, do the multiplication, we're going to end up with 12 times 1 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, and 12 times 3 is 36. Now we don't get to stop there because they asked us to describe the meaning of the results. So let's see what this is talking about. Notice that these values were changing here. That was my value of Q. What did Q represent? Q is the number of quarters that the student has been in school, right after having been to school for Q quarters. So we could say after 1 quarter, that was my first one, the student earned how many credits? Well, the student had earned a total of, what, 12 times Q, so that's where that 12 came in. So that after their first quarter, they'd earned 12 credits. What does the next part tell us? The next part tells us that after 2 quarters, so after 2 quarters, the student earned 24 credits. Okay, the longer you go to school, the more credits you earn. Or that's the goal anyway. And then after 3 quarters, the student earned 36 credits. Okay, so that's what this means in this situation. This is the meaning of our results. Now let's refer to these results to determine how many credits the student earns each quarter. Well, if we look at this, we can see that each quarter the student is adding another 12 credits. That must mean that they're earning 12 credits each quarter. So 12 credits each quarter. And how do we know that? Because each quarter they've got 12 more credits than they did the previous quarter. Okay, so each quarter has 12 more credits than the previous. And there's lots of ways that we can talk about this. There's lots of ways we could word this, but we just want to be sure that we're able to take what we're thinking about the math and put it into words down on our paper. I know sometimes this can be the most difficult part of a math class, is that explaining what you're thinking about. But that's when you know you really understand it, is when you can talk about it and write about it. Now we're not quite done yet. Let's go down here. Compare your results from Part B with the expression 12Q. What do we notice? Well, notice that 12 credits each quarter. Look at that part of my expression. That 12, the number of credits each quarter, is right there in my expression. So we could say that the 12 in 12Q represents the number of credits each quarter. The number of credits each quarter. So here we're able to think about not just what does the Q represent, but that 12 has meaning in my expression too. That 12 means this is how many credits the student is earning each quarter. Even though the problem doesn't come right out and say that, we're able to figure that out from the context of the problem.